morning. Good morning. Please stand and bow to your spirit as we sing our gathering hymn, Love Will Guide Us, number 131. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Hillsborough. And I will clear my throat for a second. Excuse me. We are a congregation that is open to all who seek spiritual growth and community with others. Whoever you are, member, friend, or guest, and whatever brought you here this morning, we're happy that you've come here today. As you may know already, masks are required today because of meeting COVID risk. Here at UUCH, we don't require that we all agree on a common set of religious beliefs. Instead, we strive to love, support, and encourage each other in our continuing individual quests for personal growth and understanding in matters of the heart and spirit. We aspire always to be an inclusive circle where all are welcome. My name is Lou Goodall, and I'm your worship coordinator today. I would like to thank everyone who's made today's service possible. Their time and effort are truly a gift of their love. I want to thank Aviva Enoch, our music director and leader of our worship team. I also want to thank Amy Dark for creating the order of service, AC Therington for handing it out, Steve Mahaley and Alex Wimborough for managing our communications, and Diana Phillips for being our listening ear today. We're also grateful that today Reverend Holly Lux Sullivan is back again to be our speaker. Before we create our sacred space, let us take a moment to share announcements for the good of the community. If you have an announcement for the congregation, please come to the side microphone, identify yourself, and speak directly into the microphone. We also invite you to have refreshments with us after the service, and for our mutual safety, to spread out inside or outside the building.
Hi everyone, it's Steve. Just reminding folks who are on the Ministry Council, there is a meeting today at 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m., and I think the link has been sent around. If not, we'll make sure that it gets up there. 1:30 p.m. today.
The song Songbirds, our singing group that you're going to get to hear this morning. We have a regular practice only once a month, and it's always on the first Sunday of the month at 7 p.m., 7 to 8:30 p.m. here, and that is happening tonight. So anyone who loves to sing is welcome to join us. Thank you.
I am Dave Yelton. I am the UUCH representative to OCIM, Orange Congregations and Mission. I have two quick announcements. One is you'll see a announcement on the bulletin boards outside. There's a children's book fair coming up this coming weekend on the 10th and 11th at OCIM Thrift Shop. They've been collecting books. I took some over there myself for a big fundraiser, and a lot of children's books will be available there on display. So please go by and check for those of you that have children or grandchildren that want to stock up for the birthdays or Christmas, whichever. Also, what do these look like? This looks like about 2 pounds of canned goods. I just got the totals a couple of weeks ago from OCIM Case Thagner, who totals up all the contributions for the year. For the year 2022, we did 1,008 pounds of contributions. So, give each other a round of applause. That's the first time we ever broke 1,000. And so, the bar is set. We hope we're running a little short going through January, but we want to shoot for a little higher. Maybe we can even go to 1,200 pounds, which would be 100 pounds per month. That would be great. So keep them flowing.
Hi, I'm Alicia, and I just wanted to let you know for your own interest that it's a holiday called Tu B'Shvat, which is the birthday of the trees. And I'm not hosting a big Tu B'Shvat thing at my house this year, but I just want to let you know that it's the birthday of the trees, so say happy birthday to a tree.
If there are no more announcements, let's prepare our worship and create our sacred space by silencing our cell phones and drawing 3 meditative breaths. Let's hold in our hearts that we are a community of liberal and open-minded people who seek to connect lovingly and respectfully with others here and in our daily lives. Thank you, pal. This is by Reverend Molly Brewer. My beloved people, I cannot pretend, and so I will tell you that everything is okay right now. There is no reason to be angry, that you must be optimistic or at peace. I cannot pretend these things, and so I won't tell them to you. But now our chalice is lit, and so all I ask in this moment is that we remember the words of Dorothy Parker. There is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all. By the light of our chalice, let us rest in this love.
Come, sit by our fire, and let us share stories. Let me hear your tales of far-off lands, wanderer, and I will tell you of my travels. Share your experience of the holy with me, worshiper, and I will tell you of that which I find divine. Come and stay, lover of leaving, for ours is no caravan of despair, but of hope. We would hear your stories of grief and sorrow as readily as those of joy and laughter. For there is a time and a place and a hearing for all the stories of this world. Stories are the breath and word of the Spirit of life, that power that we name love. Come, for our fire is warm and we have seats for all. Come again and yet again. Come speak to me of what fills your heart, what engages your mind, what resides in your soul. Come, let us worship together. Please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
We're going to sing it in unison once, and then we will divide into two groups. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday, we take some time to reflect on the special happenings that have occurred this week among our members and friends. Some choose to share aloud, while others choose to remain silent. Here, we make room for both. For those of you who would like to share aloud, please take a moment before we begin to center yourself and collect your thoughts so that what you share this morning is personal, heartfelt, and brief. Please come forward, tell us your name, and share what's in your heart. And when you're finished, you may release a stone into the vase on the altar. speak from this mic. May the community respond. Amen. And blessed be. Amen. Blessed be. Let's sing the children to class. Children's blessing inside the back cover.
We
of next month, I will get to perform the wedding of one of my dearest friends, a woman who is 17 years younger than me, who I met at work 6 years ago and quickly became a sister of my heart. She and her fiance will swear to love each other for the rest of their lives, and I will very likely cry because I've never gotten to do this sacred thing for someone I love so much. And like any of you who have a few 100,000 miles on the odometer, I know that I know that when we struggle in those most significant romantic partnerships, we fall gratefully into the web of surrounding friends for support. The significance of friendships in our adult lives is frequently dismissed, but the love between friends can be that which sustains us in our darkest times. When our businesses fail or romantic partnerships implode, our friends hold us up or they join us on the ground. Friends know our history and help us plan our future. They help us assess possible partners and possible jobs. They help us consider what we'll do in retirement and what we want the ends of our lives to look like. Friendships are unique in the pantheon of our most significant relationships because they're rarely formalized in any way. There are no commonly held rituals or ceremonies akin to weddings or baby dedications for friendships. The only formal recognition of friendship I've heard of is when friends recognize their bond by getting identical tattoos, which I'm in favor of personally. But beyond that, there's no widely accepted way to acknowledge our platonic loved ones, except, of course, if we make them our bridesmaids and groomsmen in our weddings, which, as you may know, can be a mixed bag. Yet, our best friendships are just as full of love as our romantic or familial relationships, sometimes more so. Without benefit of legal or religious sanction, our friendships carry us through decades. In 2019, a story made the rounds online about a pair of 89-year-old best friends in England who moved into the same nursing home. Kathleen Seville and Olive Woodward met when they were 11 and lived within 10 minutes of each other for their entire lives, until Kathleen moved into the Berry Hill Park care home in 2018. Olive said, "When Kathleen moved into the home, I missed her, and I used to go and see her every Saturday for lunch. Then I thought, why don't I move in too? If I'm unhappy or in trouble, I only have to go to Kathleen and we'll always end up laughing." The women have rooms down the hall from each other and figure they'll be together into eternity. Kathleen said, "If Olive goes first, she'll come back to fetch me. We're going to be friends in heaven." My search for obituaries tells me they are still together above ground. The stories about Olive and Kathleen are of a particularly obnoxious type, though. Patronizing, feel-good, look at these cute little old people stories. They don't address what these women have undoubtedly seen each other through in their 80 years of friendship. Falling in love, getting and losing jobs, having children and grandchildren, both of them outliving their husbands. Everything a person could experience from the age of 11 to 89. They've been friends so long, they are 20 years past a diamond wedding anniversary. And that wedding anniversary timeline of, oh, you get paper or whatever on the first anniversary, it doesn't go above diamond. Amina Tussaud and Anne Friedman hosted the podcast Call Your Girlfriend and wrote the book Big Friendship, How We Keep Each Other Close, about their decade-long friendship and the challenges they've seen in those years of friendship. They define big friendship as a bond of great strength, force, and significance that transcends life phases, geography, and emotional shifts. It is large in dimension, affecting most aspects of a person's life. It is full of meaning and resonance. A big friendship is reciprocal, with both parties feeling worthy of each other and willing to give of themselves in generous ways. A big friendship is active, hearty, and almost always a big friendship is mature. Its advanced age commands respect and predicts its ability to last far into the future. One of my friends would call a friendship like this that of one with a Georgia state line friend. The friend you call for help when your car breaks down on the Georgia state line, because you know that without question, they'll jump in their own car to come rescue you. Friendships like these shape our lives as much as any of our relationships. When I went to college in fall 1994, many, many moons ago, I had exchanged several letters with my randomly assigned roommate, but we had talked on the phone just once because there was a thing called long distance back then, and calling from one state to another was expensive. Yet before we knew it, we were inseparable, often ones of huge difficulty and change for both of us. So I felt some nervousness that we wouldn't feel as much natural ease together as we used to. But in the very first moment of seeing each other, we burst out laughing. The strangeness of life and intensity of it all, of all we've been through, coming up in the only way it could, through deeply connective laughter. From that moment on, she says, I knew I had nothing to worry about. To be able to hold heartbreak, pain, and loss together, and to still be able to laugh and revel in the absurdity of it all, that's a depth and quality of friendship that I feel so lucky to have in my life. Several times in my adult life, when a dear girlfriend and I have been out shopping or having dinner, another woman around our age or older has looked over at us, smiling, and asked how long we've been friends. One woman told us that she and her dearest girlfriend had had a falling out and hadn't been in touch in years. She spoke of how much she missed her best friend. My hope is that seeing us together and talking about that friend inspired her to go home and send a text or an email, pick up the phone. Another time, the woman engaging with us just said how jealous she was because she had never had girlfriends she could talk and laugh with the way she saw us doing. Until that started happening, and it's happened 3 or 4 times, I honestly had no idea how lucky I am to have the close female friendships I do. Then when running grief support groups at my hospice agency, I heard time and again women whose husbands have died talk about how alone they are. They're alone, yes, because their husbands are dead, but also because for so many years, it had been just the 2 of them. They didn't need anyone else until they did. When clinical psychologist Susan Silk had breast cancer, she developed what she calls ring theory, a system to help you determine who your supports are in concentric circles of closeness. So picture drawing a little circle and putting your own name in it. Then you draw a bigger circle around that and write in the names of the people you depend on most. Partner, child, closest friend, parent. Then another bigger circle. Who comes next? In grief support groups, we often invite participants to do this activity, to create this set of rings, to illustrate how many people they have to lean on. The groups I've run tend to be made up of all or nearly all women. And because I work in hospice, those women are often in their 70s. Living. Sometimes asking participants to putting it alone, then this is how insular her life has been. She doesn't have that many people in her rings to reach out to. Often this is because it's hard to maintain friendship when you're Unfortunately, the women in our support groups who have few friends are far from the exceptions. The New York Times reports that in 1990, 3% of Americans surveyed said they had no close friends. Almost 12% of Americans said they had no close friends. A 2021 survey of more than 2,000 adults in the U.S. showed that less than half of the men said they were satisfied with how many friends they had. Close friends at all. But friends less likely than women to rely on their friends for emotional support or to share their feelings with them. Despite these distressing statistics, we can always change how many or work to deepen our existing friendships. Many people believe it's harder to make friends we are creatures of energy. The energy we put out will be returned to us, most likely. So if we put out welcoming, confident energy, that's the kind of energy that we're going to get back, most likely. And of course, the same is true if we are exuding doubt and fear. If you attend a lecture or a book talk and someone in the crowd makes an interesting observation, take the chance to strike up a conversation with them afterwards. Ask how they came to the conclusion they shared. To meet people with shared interests, participate in an activity or join a group. The people you meet may not become close friends, but they might introduce you to someone who does. I'm told pickleball is a great way to meet people because its players are famously welcoming and friendly. My husband's friends are primarily the people he's met at a comic book store playing Dungeons and Dragons. And he's 50, so there's no shame, folks. Another of my closest friends met some of her dear friends in Jazzercise in the 2020s. I didn't know Jazzercise still existed until she was out of class. People are everywhere, which means potential friends are too. If we want to be closer with people, we have to get vulnerable. Allowing ourselves to be a little vulnerable invites the person we're talking with to do the same. This is how friendships blossom and deepen. Shared vulnerability, learning to trust each other bit by bit. This is particularly important for men who have been raised with societal messaging that vulnerability equals weakness. Friends are soul companions. They carry our stories for us. They reflect who we are and inspire us to be more. They challenge us, support us, and encourage us. They make us laugh until we cry. The right friends are lucky enough to cry until they laugh. Most of us don't live or co-parent with friends. We might work together, but usually not in such a way that we couldn't do our work without them. So the love of a dear friend is sacred in part because it is so rarely recognized as such. Friends are not legally promised to each other for as long as we both shall live. But friends choose each other through delight, arguments, celebration, hurt feelings, divorce, grief, laughter, layoffs, disaster, trauma. Through it all, time and again, we choose each other. Friends have no guarantee but those of the heart, which, after all, are the only guarantees that matter. May we all cherish the friends we turn to in times of joy as well as crisis. May we nurture these precious friendships as the sacred bonds they are. May we see our best selves in our friends and reflect their most beautiful selves back. May our friendships be reminders of the deep and abiding love that undergirds all relationships and flows through community. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
That was a heart-touching sermon. Thank you. Each week we take a monetary offering to support our social justice work in the community. This support comes in the form of donations. The community partner we're sharing the collection with this month is Northern Orange NAACP. You may donate by going online to our website or using the Vanco app on your phone. You can also place cash or a check in the basket. If you write a check, please be so kind as to write the word plate in the memo line. Your generosity is much appreciated.
Love
Wow, such beautiful harmony. It is very symbolic of that love. Please join me in a prayer of collective gratitude found in your order of service. For the love
I'm going to invite you to share in a responsive prayer with me. And the congregational response is in your order of service. It is as simple as we open our hearts with love. When the world's violence shatters the joy of a moment, we pause and reach out for the open our hearts with love. When despair rises a monster from the deep and drags down one of our own, our answer is that we open our hearts with love. When hatred and anger rage in fire and suffering, we bend to pick up the wood. Hearts with love. People will do unspeakably cruel and horrible things. We know this fact. We live and die this daily all around the world, in every community and every wasteland. But we know the answer is found only with one action, and so we open our hearts with love. Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone can be healed. This is the truth we affirm. We live with courage and with a wider and wider circle of that force that bends our lives to ones of mercy, justice, and compassion. We open our hearts with love. It's the truth. Just by being born, you are loved. There is something within you and every person that can be loved. We open our hearts with love. In love, we pray for those families, those individuals, all the people here and everywhere who are desperately sure there is not enough love in the world for them to have some, who are desperately sure they do not matter. In love with life, in love with the beloved, we turn to answer that desperation with assurance. You are loved. You are lovable. We will and do love you. Now, attend to your life's work. Love. It's the only legacy that matters. Amen. Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, number 18, What Wondrous Love Is This? Praise my life, such praise and we call for this blessing on all sheltered here, whether in body or in spirit. May the flame of our community ignite a love bold enough to share, and in return may we all be embraced by a love that remains constant in times of sorrow and in days of great gladness. May it be so.
All together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, my friends, and blessed be.
Blessed be.